Hello everyone and welcome to another Better Minecraft modpack review. This is the Better Minecraft for 1.21, also known as BMC5, and it is a mod pack that has crazy new biomes, crazy new features, but it is also in its early stages, so there's a couple things that are missing. Make sure to subscribe for more modpack videos, and I'll do another one in the future on this modpack when there are more stuff added to it. Let's just get right into it with what we have here. To start off, let's go over the biomes. Now, there are of course some biome mods such as geophilic that add some additional stuff to the current existing biomes, but there is one massive biome mod that basically changes a lot of stuff within Better Minecraft. This is the Oh the Biomes You've Gone. It is essentially a rework to the Oh the Biomes You Go mod and ported to 1.21, but with massive changes, such as new terrain generation that consists of these massive like stony spikes coming out of the ground, these stony archways, and essentially it overhauls the entire terrain within all the biomes you go. And it is an insane update to this mod, and it even has like just the nice like lush biome kind of style to the stone area. And if you go over to like somewhere like the savannah, you'll notice that even they have their own unique formations here and there. So there's like these kind of like plateau areas where they have like some smaller base all the way up to a flatter landmass on top. There are of course the trees that are redesigned as well, so you get to experience a little bit more unique areas within this version of Better Minecraft. There are a lot more structures within this mod pack, and one of the main structure mods is Explorify, and some other structure mods include Structory, Door Build, Formations, just a lot of structure mods within this mod pack. I can't really say which ones impact your world the most. I just know that this mod pack has a lot of overall structures, and you might be concerned with the overall distance or the variety of structures within this mod pack. There is a mod known as Sparse Structures, which spaces it out evenly, so you have a little bit more gap between the next structure over, so there's not like a big clump of structures within one particular area. The dungeons are also overhauled a bit, so you can see like this right here. This is not a stronghold, but this is in fact a advanced dungeon. And these dungeons contain, of course, spawners, but not only that, you can tell by the actual like indication here that this is actually a trial spawner. So you actually have the use of the trial spawners within these dungeons. So of course, that indicates that these work very similar to that of the trial chambers. There's also some regular chests within this area as well. And here's an example of where you can use that you get within this dungeon. And here's another example of another dungeon here. So as you can see here, it looks just really revamped. And this one in particular actually looks like a stronghold, but is in fact another dungeon. Alongside this particular dungeon is actually another structure known as a Young's Better Mineshaft. So here you have the Young's Better Mineshaft, and there are a lot of other Young's mods, such as Young's Better Stronghold, Young's Better Ocean Monuments, Young's Better Jungle Temples, Young's Better Witch Huts, etc, etc. And so you have a bunch of the revamped vanilla structures within the game as well. And once more, repurposed structures is in Better Minecraft. This is a mod that takes existing structures and basically reuse them in a different setting. This is a jungle fortress, which is obviously a reference to the Nether fortress, and there's a lot of these around the world where it's like a desert temple within the ice area, so it's an ice temple, a plains temple. It is essentially like copying and pasting an existing vanilla structure and repurposing it to another environment. And of course, for the structures, you have When Dungeons Arise. And When Dungeons Arise is a crazy dungeon mod that adds in these cool structures. Typically, they are big, relatively big, so you'll probably see them on the surface a couple of times, and they have cool mobs such as the skeletons with the iron armor and boots. Typically, they have maybe a unique head on, and they can be really powerful depending on the structure that you're facing them in. And of course, that means that there's also like chests and loot within these areas here. And you can even see like the massive phantom in the middle of the arena. We are on to the mob section, and there are now new mob variants with certain creatures. So for example, you have an ice zombie with a snowball. You can guess what that snowball does. There's a new jungle skeleton. There is obviously a jungle zombie. So you have these cool new variant creatures around the area. There are also new illager variants defined within raids. There's also some structures, I believe, that carry these guys, but these are mostly found within raids, as the mod Raided adds in new illagers for raids. And I believe there's also a mod known as Illager Evasion that basically adds in more illagers as well. So you have two mods that adds in very unique illagers to your game, and they are really cool. You also have previous mob vote mobs back in here as well. So here you have some of our previous friends that you've seen in the mob votes, and they all spawn within this Better Minecraft mod pack. And these are some of the creatures that you might find within the Biomes you've gone. So there's a Man-of-War, there's a Pumpkin Warden, and an Odeon, which I don't exactly know what two of these are. You'll definitely see them around occasionally. There are also dragon mounts in this mod pack, and the way to get a dragon mount is to take the existing dragon egg after killing the ender dragon and basically placing that egg within a certain environment of your choice, and that environment will depend on like what dragon you want. For example, if you want a water dragon, you put the egg in water and right click on it, and then it will start the process of transforming that egg into a water egg, or water dragon egg, excuse me, and then get yourself a water dragon. An aether dragon is the one that you see right here, which should be gotten by basically placing the egg up top. And in order to feed or tame the dragon, you can give it fish. And now the dragon is mine, so it will follow me. Now time for some of the dimensions. The dimension that you're seeing right now is the deeper and darker dimension. This was in the previous Better Minecraft one, and it is a crazy dimension where the dimension has a bunch of skulk related creatures along with a couple of structures that will give you urns, and you break the urn, you have a chance of a certain creepy guy spawning in, and of course there's a high chance for the warden to spawn. There are some benefits for going into here. For example, you can use the skill to like get more levels, and you can find some cool items within the urns, within the structure I just mentioned, and there's just a lot of like interesting things that you can do within this dimension. However, I will say it is a very hard dimension, so don't try to get to it immediately. The best way to get to this dimension, by the way, is to kill the warden and to put the hearts that you get from a crafter recipe inside of the big frame within the ancient city. So that is the gist on how to get to this dimension, and it is a very difficult dimension, so please try to get to this when you have some good gear. And this is the temple that you'll find a bunch of the urn stuff inside of. This is the Twilight Forest dimension, and the Twilight Forest dimension has some amazing cool guys, such as the questing ram, where you can give it wool of all the colors and it will give you a lovely little horn. There are also bosses within this dimension, and the bosses are as follows. You have the Naga, which is the structure over there, and you have to face the Lich. Either go down the route of the Minishroom, the Hydra, or the Goblin guys, and then the Yarghast, or also the Alpha Yeti and the Snow Queen. And you can go ahead and kill some of the guys over in the Final Castle region, which you see over here. Now, the one downside of this dimension is that the Final Castle is still incomplete, but you can go down the same path line as per usual and basically just get some nice stuff with this dimension. There are still a couple of useful items within this dimension that can only be found within this dimension, so that is the real benefit of this dimension. We're in the Nether, and the Nether has a bunch more biomes and structures. Formations for the Nether has a couple of new structures around the area, and I believe When Dungeons Arise might have a few structures in here. I forgot about that exactly, but there are some cool, unique structures within this dimension. and a couple of the bosses and such from the previous Cataclysm mod are not imported over yet, but as you can see right here, this is an example of a new structure, which I believe is from the repurposed structure mod, and there are a couple of new repurposed structures alongside the formations mod within this dimension. And I believe there are some new piglins, so you can get some different kind of like unique stuff from them. Also in the Nether, if you go underground, you might find one of these areas, and these areas will have a lot of spawners, but will also have ancient debris, and you might even get lucky and find a big one with a block of netherite. So that right there is very worthwhile if you can find one of those, but you're not guaranteed a block of netherite, as you can tell by this one right here. Finally, for the dimensions, we have the end dimension, which has the Young's Better End Island. There is a unique animation for the dragon, and so basically if you were to enter here, that you have a bit of a light show going on here where the 4 end crystals in the middle will start blasting the towers on the outside, and after they destroy each of the end crystal towers, the ender dragon will appear, and as you can see, this is just the regular ender dragon fight, but with a nice cool introduction animation to start you off. As for the outer end, there aren't any new biomes or anything just yet for the outer end. There are going to be some, I assume, in the future, but there are these little ships here which will help you find any end cities nearby. And if you're curious on how the end city looks, this is how it looks, and it is really cool. Majority of the tweaks that are made is just like for design purposes, so there aren't anything too new with the end city, but it does look very cool. There are also quests within this mod pack. Now this isn't really complete, as you can tell by the overworld quest, which is just defend a village from a raid, so you can kind of tell like they're just basic quests right now. The Twilight Forest quest is basically the same as it always been. The end is just defeat the Ender Dragon. The other side is just the general other side quest, and the curiosities. This is basically where you can do a couple of the unique things that are in this mod pack. An example of a unique thing is obtain a waystone, craft a trading post, craft iron wolf armor, craft a saw, craft a diamond magnum torch, craft a nature's compass, craft a warp scroll, and craft an XP tome. So these are some like the unique stuff that you can do within the mod pack. There's not a lot of quests right now, but eventually in the future there will be some more quests. And that is basically it for this entire mod pack. There isn't much right now, like I keep on saying, but there is going to be more stuff in the future that are going to be really cool. So right now there are the mods that I mentioned right here, and more stuff will be added along with more quests and just generally more things to do. But thank you guys so much for watching. I will do another mod pack review when this mod pack gets updated after like a couple of more months. And yeah, aside from that, take care and goodbye.